Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
It's FA Cup week, Dan.
The magic of the cup.
We're in that cup. We're sitting in it like it's some sort of hot tub.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
we're still in the hot tub, as the old saying goes.
We're still in the hot tub because Exeter City in the first round drew 1-1 away with Bradford City.
Stewing in our own juices.
Yes.
One of the main criticisms of hot tubs, isn't it?
You're basically in your own filth.
You're having a lovely time, all bubbling away. But it's just all your own...
Grime.
Your own dirt, isn't it? And grime, and your friends.
And there's no amount of bubbles that can cover up for that.
No.
You come out filthier than when you started.
I went in a hot tub not that long ago.
Oh, I thought you looked unclean.
And it had sort of like lights that sort of gradually change colour.
Oh.
And also had Bluetooth connectivity.
Of course it did. So what, it's got a speaker in it?
Yeah.
So you might right now be listening to the Big Bang Theory podcast in a bubbling hot tub.
I love the thought of that.
It's flashing red and white.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Totally nude. Listening to this.
That's how Tisdale does all his listening, by the way.
Yeah, I think it probably would be.
Yeah. Just his hat on. You know that song, You Can Leave Your Hat On?
Yeah.
That's written by Paul Tisdale.
That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. Doesn't matter. Bath, shower, hot tub, sea.
Yep.
Intercourse. He'll wear a hat for anything. Probably too much detail.
Famously doesn't really wear a hat much these days anyway, but enough about him and more about Bradford City 1, Exeter City 1.
Derek Adams is a man, of course, Bradford City manager, former Argyle manager, who does all of the things we just listed, fully clothed.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Hot tub, bath, shower.
Yeah.
And he was fully clothed for this as well. And what he would have seen was Bradford take the early lead. Another of our nemesis, Theo Robinson, who was at Colchester, wasn't he, when we were playing him in the playoffs?
Yeah, they scored against us in the first leg, I think, didn't he?
That when we were completely dominated that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, he scored.
They definitely had the better of us, didn't they? First half especially, but for most of that game.
Yep.
From what it sounds like from the radio. Yeah, Taylor sort of seemed to suggest that we were kind of looking a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah.
It was a slightly rejigged side, wasn't it? So we had Jake Caprice back on the right wing back, and then exactly what we said couldn't be done.
Can't be done, we said.
Colin Daniel on the left wing.
Shows
But
what we know,
fittingly, the magic of the cup, we had Magic Man Colin Daniels.
Oh yeah, nice.
On the left wing. Other than that, Nigel Asangana back in there.
Doing all sorts of magic.
Was he in there from the
between
start?
boxes? Is that what would that work as a magic joke?
Maybe he wasn't in there from the start.
Nige.
Yeah. Anyway.
You've Colin Daniel and boxes and sawing things in half. There's a joke there somewhere, but I just don't have it to put together. And City were well under the cosh and could have had, well, from the sounds of it, 3 or 4 against us as we were pressing towards the end of play. And then Matt Taylor made some changes.
Yep.
And it worked well. So what was the starting lineup?
The starting lineup, I don't try and find it actually. I mean, you know, I should have done this before. Here we are. Dawson in goal, Caprice, Sweeney, Ray and Hartridge.
Yeah.
With Colin Daniel on the left. It was Asangana from the start. Collins J. That's not one person. Collins J.
Yeah.
Giovanni Brown and Nombe. So, you know, fairly standard, but a couple of changes from the usual. Josh Key not being in there being the main kind of one, really.
Yeah. And, you know, Josh Key, did you see this recently, Dan? It was all in the news that actually he admitted the old Sunderland interest in the summer had kind of turned his heads unfair, but affected him, you know. He was thinking about that. And, you know, he was kind of slow to start, wasn't he, at the beginning of the season? So
he was a bit, but, I mean, he's still been, like, pretty effective.
I agree entirely. But he said the other day, oh, yeah, it kind of got to me, the speculation.
Right.
But when he came on Saturday, all that you might speculate.
Yeah,
about
so
was
him and
how good he
Edwards came on as well, and it really sounded like straight away Edwards was getting, you know, running at them, starting to cause them a bit of problems. We didn't really seem like we'd done. They suggested that Nombe wasn't really having his best day, and we looked pretty ineffective up front.
Yeah.
Quiet one from Brown and J2. I think Bradford did a decent job of just keeping our forwards quiet. and we couldn't get those, wing backs down the lines enough. I mean, Colin Daniel is 40 odd, isn't he? So he's hardly going to be pillaging his way down the left. But
come on, Gramps.
And also sounded like Archie Collins perhaps his passing wasn't quite on it. He kept talking of interceptions every time he was trying to play ball. So I wonder, if the reason for this kind of lackluster start or this lackluster kind of performance, pre-changes anyway, could be down to, I mean, the FA Cup's kind of been a bit undermined, hasn't it, these days? I mean, it used to be, I know it's only the first round or whatever, but like, it used to be such a big deal that the players would have been really up for it, thinking this is our chance to kind of like progress into this kind of like real thing that's got a lot of national interest. And I don't think there is as much. So maybe that's just like, not deliberately, but subconsciously, they're just like, this is not as much of a thing.
Well,
now.
they're not going to win it, are they?
We're not going to win it, but you mean like, it's just like, I don't know, it's everything.
No, I get what you mean.
It's more about the kind of Champions League now and like the Euros and the Premier League, and it's just like, while the FA Cup first round probably hasn't always been a kind of real kind of thing. It's just I think in their heads it's not as much of a thing maybe, which could explain it, I guess.
And like, we've been so good in the league.
Well, that's the other thing, is
pushing forward. Yeah. Maybe a bit of them thinks subconsciously or otherwise, like, oh,
you hold a bit back, yeah.
And also, it's a shame we haven't got another league game this week.
Yeah,
that's where we want to be. That's where the action is.
Which is true. We do want to prioritise that, but I just thought that was maybe one possible kind of explanation for it.
Yeah. Anyway, nevertheless, 85 minutes. Josh Key up the wing. I mean, gloriously up the wing. Left them absolutely hanging. There's a shot, I don't know if you've seen it. Two of the defenders he'd gone round are both lying on the floor.
Well, yeah, he put two of them on their arse, but at one point he's surrounded by, I think it's 4 players, but it looks like the entire Bradford team and he just runs through all of them.
Yeah.
But then cuts it back, and like, again, we're taking this stuff for granted by now, but having a striker like Sam Nombe, especially being in form, being in the right place, getting across his man and across the keeper, to be there, to be on the end of that ball in,
Yeah.
Someone running to the near post while our wingers are running to the byline. That's just, we've missed that. That's not Bowman's game, and like,
oh, we've missed that for years.
Yeah, we really have. That's a kind of Curitan sort of like type thing, So that was brilliant to see, and it's just great to keep that unbeaten run going. And I, for one, am really pleased that we're still in the FA Cup. I mean, I don't know whether or not other people care or not. I do.
Well, of course, we'll all care, depending on what the draw is. So we're ball number 1. We're recording this on Monday. The draw will have been done by the time you listen, listeners. So you'll know if it's a peachy tie or not.
Yeah, well, we all know too. We just don't know now, and neither does anyone else.
That's true. I'm going to predict that it's... Oh, I'd love to see Argyle.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I like Argyle away because we missed out on that, didn't we?
Oh, we did.
Yeah. Obviously, that would always be good.
And I fear it might be a while before we see Argyle again.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's tonight. So that was the result, 1-1. So that means we were unbeaten in however many, I can't even remember.
Well, we now have the record for the country.
Liverpool went and got beaten yesterday, didn't they?
Yep.
Which means we're the longest unbeaten team in the country.
That's good, isn't it?
Have that.
Yeah.
That's not one of those, like, because we've always got stats, haven't we? Like, I don't blame our social media team for this at all. Like, you're just trying to keep it going, aren't you?
Well, everyone remembers the time when, I can't remember what the exact stats were to back it up, but essentially it was being suggested that Jadon Stockley was better than Messi.
Yes, that's right. And that was a good one, and we all enjoyed that. But there are other
Which
stats.
We know to be true, but it's just, like...
But there have been other stats, haven't there? And it's like, with this, we've got the 3rd best home record when it's not raining in southern Britain, if you don't include Birmingham. It's like stuff like that. And you're like, oh, okay. But this is...
No, that's legit. Simple.
Bona fide.
Yeah.
Unbeaten. I think it's 16, isn't it now?
I can't keep track of it.
Kind of things. Because I've been thrown by the other competitions. Anyway, it's very good. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful to see. I hope they can keep it going.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I just especially like beating Derek Adams. Like, obviously, none of us like Argyle. None of us are here for the Argyle stuff. But he was I think he was the most obnoxious of Argyle's managers for years, wasn't he? Just the worst. And he had a dig at us the other day.
I think Ryan Lowe's kind of the next most obnoxious of recent times. But yeah,
I think Adams is worse.
He did have a dig at us the other day, which I think we missed actually.
Yeah, we did. But Matt Taylor didn't miss it.
No, he basically said we don't want to get out of League Two.
Yeah, and
that Bradford have much more ambition than us,
and their supporters have got much higher expectations than us, and all this.
And that we, only just all we do is build up young players just to sell them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I don't like about that is he's taking little grains of truth, and then really kind of like blowing them up into big assumptions.
That's what the biggest bullies always do, Dan.
Yeah, it is.
They start with the truth and then they...
I'd love to see a fist fight between Matt Taylor and Derek Adams, because Adams will get his absolute arse kicked.
Matt Taylor is one of the most solid managers, isn't he?
Yeah, I fancy him against any of the other League Two managers.
Certainly.
Love to see him take out Barton.
Oh dear.
I mean, everyone would, but...
Yeah. It's not his style, is it? Matt Taylor knows that he could...
If he did, he'd do it respectfully,
He'd knock his block off and then he'd go and fetch it back for him.
Well, he just wouldn't... He'd knock him over, but then he wouldn't kick him when he's on the floor.
Yeah.
He'd respect the rules of combat. Whereas I think Joey Barton, as we know, would just like stick a cigar in your eye when you're on the ground.
Derek Adams has got a razor blade in his boot.
Yeah.
There we are. So we're in the cup second round, kind of. We always said it's good to be in the hat. And it kind of is, isn't it? Maybe it'll give them the impetus that they need for the replay, which is now a week Tuesday.
Yeah. So we've now got 4 home games in 10 days.
Ay caramba. So that's Tuesday.
I fancy us in that replay as well. I think we'll win. I think we'll win that one. I just do. You know what I mean? I think after that, the way that result went, and them having to come all the way down here, and I just think how good we've been at home and how long it's been since we've lost there. I think we'll win that simply.
But it's always the extra drive as well, isn't it? I don't want to cast aspersions, but if we've got it's Stevenage away in the next round, or it's Hartlepool away in the next round, or it's something worse than that, you could kind of...
I see what you mean, yeah, because they already know where they're going next.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, but that could be the same for Bradford. They don't want to play, if they've got Argyle away, they'd be like, we don't want to be dragged down there and be beaten.
Yeah.
It just puts a different spin on it.
Neither of us want Colchester away, do we? And then it might end up being a kind of, no one wants to win it. So,
Yeah. Those are always great games.
Yeah.
No one wants to win it. So we'll see on that. So I think it's on the... Yeah, you'll know by now. By the time you're listening, listeners, you can insert your own team name into this gap here.
There you go.
Okay, more about the upcoming games in a minute. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast, where we're talking, as always, about all things Exeter City. Remember, you can get in touch with us in the normal ways. We're on Twitter at Big Bang Pod. We're on Facebook, the Big Bang Theory podcast, and we're on email as well, bigbangpod@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. We love to hear who you'd like in the next round. You'll already know, and so you can make yourself look really good if you want to.
I mean...
If you want to impress me and Dan.
If you want to... Yeah, well, I won't be impressed by someone just emailing in the information that we'll all already have.
Talking of other information we already have, the vote... We didn't even get to talk about this last week because it happened so quickly.
Well, hang on, just quickly, before we move on to anything else, I just want to mention that we forgot in the first section to mention that Jack Sparks is back.
Oh, yeah, he played.
And he came on and played, and he also did 70 minutes, I think, for whatever midweek weird friendly against Bournemouth we had.
Oh, yeah, the old behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we lost, actually, but that doesn't count. But anyway, it's great to see old Collarbone Chris back out there on the pitch.
Welcome, Chris. Collarbone all healed.
That's massive. I really think that's...
he's got a massive collarbone.
Yeah, it's gone massive now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's like... And he's going to start using it to sort of barge players off the ball.
No, that's a big return, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
And that takes us to only one injured player, I believe. The old Stubbs factor.
Yeah, I think Kyle Taylor was out for a bit, but he was back on the bench, didn't get on.
Right.
I think there's some suggestion that him and Coley might both play Wednesday night.
Okay.
But yeah, so what were you going to say?
We had the choice, didn't we, as trust members, to vote on the new home kit for next year.
Yes, we did.
And
so
we
there was
voted.
3 choices
Yes.
outlined.
Obviously, this is an excellent article for a podcast.
Yeah, everyone. If you're bothered enough to be listening to this, then you've probably seen the options for the home kit. Anyway, in an unbelievable turn of events,
yes,
I actually quite liked all 3 options.
I know.
Joe Murrigan.
Did you like all 3 of them better than the current one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that one we got at the moment at all. But the new ones, all 3 options. So the first one was hard to describe. You've seen them all. I voted for number 2.
Yes.
Which was the old thin stripe.
Yes.
Fade out. Now, I wasn't a massive fan of the fade out, but what I did like was the kind of like lovely V-neck collar.
Oh, yeah.
And I do quite like the thin stripes, so that didn't seem particularly popular amongst the, the general consensus.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wasn't that bothered because I thought they were all nice.
Yeah, and then the other choices were both thicker stripes, both with red arms, one with an entirely red back, and one with a half red.
Yeah, so basically it's like thick, medium or thin stripes, and then they went for the medium one.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice shirt. Very plain, very simple.
Nice collar. Nice end of sleeves.
Yeah, trim. Nice, lovely trim.
Oh, trim, yeah.
So that'll be what we wear next season. Now, this is the main thing,
as
far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how good your home shirt is if you're wearing those flipping red shorts. Get rid of them.
Some are suggesting...
I'd like to get rid of them for even the rest of this season.
You hate them.
It looks awful. That's not our kit.
I've still got a theory on this, which is that the old black kit had red shorts, and they had an excess of red shorts left over.
Well, that basically is what happened. Yeah.
Okay. It's not just a theory; it's a fact.
But they were all sold out for ages. All the home shorts, you couldn't get any of them. So I just think that's probably, and Brexit and pandemic, it's bound to have affected it, isn't it? So, but I also think we just wore them once, and then they went, "Oh, we really like this." Some of the players, but I mean, like whatever. It's not your club; it's mine.
You don't have to wear them in public, though.
So what?
Anyway,
if you work in Tesco's, you don't get to choose what uniform.
I bet you do.
I want to wear a green shirt. No, you wear the blue shirt like everyone else because that's Tesco's kit.
I bet if you're in Tesco's, you can choose between polo shirt.
Yeah, sure.
Fleece,
but you don't get to choose what colour it is.
No, you don't get to choose what colour it is. But I'm just saying.
The players get to choose long or short sleeves.
You've got a lot of people looking at them.
Yeah, not relevant. If you don't like the kit, don't play for the club.
Wow. That means Barcelona had no players. Have you seen their shirt?
I know people I know we've worn red shorts in the past. I know that, and I just don't like it. I'd rather have black, or I'd also accept white. I like that too.
Do you think white is the laundry person's nightmare? Do you think that's why we never have white anymore?
Well, it's been that long since I suppose that's been a
while. But we did have the white shirts, didn't we? Yeah, well, anyway, we'll see. We don't know about the shorts. We didn't get to vote on that. Maybe that's the next vote.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not.
Oh, I think most people would rather not have red shorts.
Do you?
Yeah. Because that's not what we have.
Maybe we should do an online poll.
Yeah, could do.
That's the enthusiasm from our social media manager there. Anyway.
In other words, no.
We got to choose the shirt, and it has been chosen. So that's nice. And I'm pleased that we don't have to have all the faff around. People always really complain vociferously and unnecessarily, in my opinion, about how slow we are. I don't think we are slow, by the way, but how another club has put out their shirt quicker.
I don't care at all about that. I mean, let's be honest. It only matters if we're wearing it on the first day. But then...
But I do care that people aren't moaning about that. I think, don't worry about that.
Well, they'll find something else to moan about, so
That's
don't...
true. Talking of moaning, where's the effing scoreboard?
Yeah. I mean, how many more segments can we do on this, do you mean?
Well,
there is no scoreboard.
You don't think it exists?
I don't think so.
Do you think it's a ploy? Like when politicians say something and then you turn on it, and they're like, see, we listened.
I see what you mean. I don't think we'd be that...
Good news, we've just found £100,000 from not having the scoreboard.
I don't think we'd be that,
Spin doctory.
Yeah.
All right.
But although we have got... It does look like it can't be a money thing, because we've got, according to the BBC...
Yeah.
We've made a big old profit despite the pandemic, haven't we?
3 million.
Due to the sales of... Well, mostly Ollie Watkins. They seem to suggest we got some money for Nicky Law. I don't think we did. But maybe we did. Maybe they paid off his contract or something.
Maybe.
So that's nice to see, isn't it? I think we're one of the only teams to have turned a profit.
Well, Dan, you know who the other ones are, and I don't mean to turn this sinister or tin foil hat-esque, but the other team to collect a profit in Devon, and one of the few nationally, are green friends down the road, Plymouth Argyle. And do you know why?
Why is that?
They took out an insurance policy, but a few months before the pandemic, meaning they would get a big old payout if there was a contagious disease outbreak. That's a true fact.
Is it?
True fact.
That is fishy.
Fishy.
Well,
Ryan Lowe seen coming back from Wuhan, rubbing people's faces.
I can add more to the kind of like Plymouth Argyle scum
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
conversation.
Not just
sorry.
scum, conniving scum.
Yeah, well, here's some more conniving scum for you.
Let's hear it.
Our beloved Southgate Hotel
Yeah.
on the Cathedral Green.
Beloved.
Yeah, one of the oldest hotels in the land.
Oh, you don't mean the
realm.
Southgate Hotel. You mean the Rougemont
Sorry,
Hotel.
I mean the Rougemont Hotel,
Yeah.
not the Southgate.
No, you don't mean the Rougemont Hotel either. You mean the other one.
No, the Royal Clarence, for fuck's sake. Yeah,
This isn't a hotel podcast. Get over it, listeners.
yeah.
Yeah. Our
The
beloved
Royal
Clarence.
Clarence.
Yeah.
Where King Henry VIII once laid his head.
Yeah, where Jesus stayed. After no one knows this. The first night of birth,
Yeah.
stable. Second night of birth, Royal Clarence Hotel.
Wow, how did he get it? I thought he meant later in life, or sort of
No.
on one of his later tours.
Second night travel.
Right, okay, so yeah, very famous hotel. Anyway, now apparently it's been bought by something called Southwest Lifestyle Limited. And guess who owns that?
Oh no.
That fellow who owns Argyle. And now they're saying, oh, it's not viable as a hotel.
What?
So it's now just going to be made into flats. Now, if you're being cynical,
Yeah.
and I am,
Yes.
then I'd suggest that's because you can make your money back a lot quicker by just selling a load of flats, and you can't like eking it back as a hotel over the years.
Yeah. It's a lot
You
of cups of tea.
got to compete with that one in the old eye hospital.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hotel Duvan.
Hotel Duvan or whatever it's called these days. I preferred Hotel Barcelona.
Yeah. Felt exotic.
I preferred a lovely eye hospital.
Was it just for lovely eyes?
No, it's a lovely eye hospital.
Fine.
Not a lovely eye hospital.
Because
All
they're-
eyes should be treated, lovely or not.
It's true. It's true. They all see the same world.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, you can just go to the normal hospital if you've got a problem with your eyes these days.
Oh yeah.
I once had a problem with my eye. And I was seen very promptly at the RD&E.
Good.
Anyway, why the hell are we talking about that?
Because
Oh, yeah, Argyle, yeah.
Because the Argyle scumbag bought the hotel and he's going to paint it green and it's going to be called the Pilgrim's Merchandise Store.
Yeah, or it's just
Probably.
going to be a load of big green flats.
Big
isn't it?
green flats with Ryan Lowe's painted on mural on the side.
Yeah,
Ah.
so they've infiltrated our
Ah.
beloved cathedral yard. But yeah, that's just, life, isn't it?
First Tom Daly and now this.
Mm.
First Josh Widdicombe and now this.
First John Nettles and now this.
Ah, so it never
Unconfirmed.
ends.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we beat them 4-1, didn't we?
we did. So, how on earth did we get onto that? Oh yeah, because of course now we know that Ryan Lowe started coronavirus to make profit for their football club.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're right that we've also made a profit this year, pandemic year.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive. What were we talking about before that? Oh, the
scoreboard, but,
Well,
I mean,
anyway, we'll never see it again. What we will see, though, is Oldham Athletic at St James Park this Saturday. But before that, it's the old Wednesday Papa John's, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got the Papa John's. Bit of a correction to make.
Please.
Papa John,
Yeah.
or whatever his name is, not a sex pest, or not a,
Good.
not a perv.
Right.
He's racist.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Worse, if anything.
I
Or
mean,
as
yeah.
bad. Anyway,
Hmm.
he is now. If you're a regular consumer of Papa John's pizzas,
Yeah.
I think they've got 2 locations in the
I
city.
think they're down to 1 again now.
Are they?
Yeah.
They are no longer. He's no longer anything to do with it.
Okay.
So you can eat those pizzas racism free
Good.
and sex free. So
Good.
crack on.
Yeah. Important.
But yeah, so we're playing Bristol Rovers at home in that.
And he won't be there.
He won't be there. We might see a bunch.
I think we're going to see quite a young squad, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll see all the people who need minutes basically playing there, won't we?
And we're now seeing, if we're including the Papa John's, 3 weekday games in a row, aren't we? because then we've got the replay, and then the following Tuesday we're away at Colchester.
Yeah, there's a lot of games now.
Suddenly speeds up.
And then we've got a lot in December too. So this is where it gets a bit tricky, maybe, especially to keep up an unbeaten run with that many games going on. But, I'm pretty confident about these next handful coming up.
Yep.
And if the unbeaten run comes to an end,
and it will at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's not the end of the world, is it? Do you mean? It's how well you can bounce back from defeats. That's much more important. So, we'll see. So Oldham, they're not having a good time, are they?
No, they're not. Is this guy our least favourite manager? He always manages to beat us. It's Keith Kerr.
No, I think it really is. I mean, his teams play terrible football. I'm sick of seeing his face.
Carlisle, Northampton, and now Oldham.
Yeah.
He just does that.
But anyway, they're doing terribly.
They are,
and he's usually quite good at sort of like
getting the long ball.
Yeah, just kind of like spoiling his way up the league, isn't he? So
he is.
So they had
22nd.
They're 22nd or something. Yeah, they drew with Ipswich away in the FA Cup of the weekend, which was quite a good result actually. Before that, in the league though, they've been having a bad time. Lost to Swindon, lost to Walsall, some others. But a game we absolutely should be winning, and at this point, I'd be very disappointed in a draw, considering how good our home record is.
Yeah.
I know we've had draws, but we seem to have shaken that off a bit recently, and obviously Saturday we drew too. But I'll be disappointed if we don't get all 3 points here, and we absolutely should.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we really should. I know the league hasn't changed since last week because of the FA Cup, but yeah, we still sit in 4th. Oldham 22nd. They're on minus 11 on the goal. They've conceded 22.
Yeah, that's bad. So hopefully we can up that.
So yeah, I think City will feel confident. I hope it's straight out of the blocks. I hope we finish it off quick.
Yeah,
just one of those kind of things.
I think we will, but you've got to see Josh Key back in there, and hopefully we'll get to see some more sparks. I mean, hopefully we're in a position to be able to bring him on. Or maybe, who knows, maybe even start. I think once your collarbone's... better. I mean, if it's only a collarbone, it looks like he's kept himself fit, which is a credit to him. And once it's better, isn't it? It's not like kind of a muscle that could go again if it's not quite healed. It's like, it's just that once the bone's fused or screwed back together, you're good to go.
Yeah,
once it stops hurting.
Chris rides again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good news. And that makes our injury... Like we said, well, again...
I don't want to curse it because we're due someone being out, aren't we? Or getting a bad one.
And maybe Sam Stubbs is taking it for all of us. All of the squad. Just holding on to that injured status. Will we ever see him?
Sam Stubbs?
Yeah.
Doubt it.
That's a crystal ball question for you.
Oldham have got some player called Jack Stobbs or something. I think we're much more likely to see him.
I'd like to see him.
But,
they've also got... Hallam Hope, who we've seen quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, and who's the other one? The older gentleman.
Flipping Nicky thingy.
Nicky Adams.
Yeah, so, it's a familiar squad. No, sorry, it's an unfamiliar squad, but they're really struggling. I mean, they've had all sorts of problems, haven't they, Oldham? I don't know if we'll see any away fans, because I think they're all pretty sick of him, the owner. You might recall that Oldham, earlier in the season, he banned any attendees who weren't season ticket holders for a couple of games because he was too fed up with the protests. So
wow.
He didn't do the ban, but he said, well, no one can buy tickets unless you've already got your season ticket, which is a bizarre thing to do when you're in financial trouble. But he didn't want the protests.
Oh, that's mad, isn't it? I mean,
so I know that there was some protest around. So whether they'll bring anyone or whether they're
right.
Or maybe,
I feel sorry for Oldham fans in that
come.
situation.
It might be that they all come because they're not going to their home games.
Right? Yeah, maybe
that kind of thing.
Long way to go, though, isn't it?
Yeah, long way, but flipping mad. The fall they've had. Premier League 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Less.
Premier League and you loved it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the song for them. Dear oh dear. I hope Keith Curl. I just really hope Keith Curl... I hope Matt Taylor's worked him out. Because I think he's got a psychological edge over him. It's happened so many times now.
Yeah, maybe. I think we just need to go about our business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thinking too much about Curl's got the better of me before.
But he does overthink it sometimes.
Yeah, he does sometimes. But I hope we just kind of no, let's just keep doing what we're doing. playing the way we're playing, and just we're better than them. Do you know what I mean? So, and I just hope we can do that.
I mean, it's in fairness to Matt Taylor, as we said a couple of weeks ago, that one of his weaknesses was substitutions, and he seems to really have overcome that as a major problem.
Yeah, that's been working really well recently. Oh, one on the injury update. It was like George Ray came off at the weekend, and he felt a bit of a twinge.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he's all right, and he's got have a week to recover. We won't need to play him in midweek, will we? So yeah, but I feel like if we got anywhere near our full strength side, we should absolutely swap Oldham aside easily.
Love it.
Hope so. Yeah.
Great, excellent.
On the subject, we've been talking about this. I mean, it's starting to get ridiculous now, but this Exeter City musical.
Oh yeah.
I had a suggestion.
Okay.
From Stu, which was I think he wanted to call it Back to Back, which is just quite a nice kind of snappy
good Stu, yeah.
name.
Yeah.
And he suggested though that Matt Taylor and Wayne Carlisle
could
both play themselves in a kind of Larry David Curve Your Enthusiasm sort of style move.
Would that be unfortunate though? Like, you're making them put their old kits on, they realise they're not as slim as they once were. I'm talking more about Wayne here than I am.
I was about to say we could do an Irishman, come in and digitally de-age them, but this is a stage production. Well, a bit of makeup.
I really don't think we've got the budget for
bit of makeup, decent makeup department, and we'll they'll be fine.
For a really, really large shirt.
Yeah.
Good suggestions, Stu.
Thanks,
if
mate.
anyone else has got any more suggestions, you can always fill us in.
Yeah.
Been innovative so far.
It's been good.
We haven't started the crowdfunder yet because
we'll move on to something else soon. I think
Oh, we're not producing this for.
Yeah, we are.
Christmas pantomime.
Yeah, of course. No, it's not a pantomime. It's more highbrow than that.
Oh, is it?
I don't think it's a ballet.
Adroit. It's a ballet.
No, well, it could be.
Yeah.
Or at least a kind of West End musical, not a panto.
Yeah. Okay.
Widow Twanky.
You play Widow Twanky, don't you?
Who?
Sweeney.
He's already playing Julian Tagg. Taggy can play Widow Twanky.
That would work. There's almost a Widow Julian Twank. I don't know, there's something there. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, as usual. Welcome to our second century. This is episode 101.
Yeah.
We're still here, still fighting. I've put my feet up for this episode, and it's been a relaxed affair.
Don't rest on your laurels.
No, all right.
Yeah, that's what they'll be saying now. Oh, they've let it
drift.
It's gone to their head now. They've had Matt J on the blower.
Yeah.
And now they're just phoning it in, talking about
absolute nonsense. Yeah. Well, got news for you listeners. We've always talked about absolute nonsense. This is what we've always done.
Since day one.
Day one nonsense. Thanks for listening. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.